I don't even know. Well, I guess my sound's working. I just had to do it. Had to hear my Fortaleza theme music and get me out of the funk that I was in. That is the funk. I don't tend to enunciate perfectly all the time. Hi, Roland. Start date 09 08 2017. Friday vlog. I'm just going to make this a quick one because been wanting to talk about this all day. Made a few notes and I just put it aside. I've been trying to get to this thing for several hours this afternoon. And then I went to the YouTube mechanism to launch a quick vlog, and the whole thing malfunctioned on me and deleted what I was going to do for my vlog and then deleted my event for tomorrow. Deleted everything and I couldn't believe it. So I had to reconstruct my event and now I'm finally going to say what I was going to talk about. I really was going to take more time on this, but we'll make it quick. And the subject is basically top 10 reasons why not to do live streaming. Why not to? And you wonder, wow, I can't believe that Roland's talking about these. Always talk about live streaming. Well, right now we'll talk about the 10 top reasons not to do live streaming. But it'll be a little different perspective. Because actually, as you know, I'm a proponent of live streaming. But the people around me and in and out throughout the marketplace and throughout the social media and throughout the internet will talk themselves out of it, or they will delay. And that's almost as good as talking themselves out of it, because if you don't get started, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Can't steer a parked car. But anyway, here's what people tell themselves. And I'm going to get it. I was going to do a slideshow and all this stuff, but you just hearing the pieces will be enough, I'm sure. So the first one, of course, is when you say, well, why don't you do live streaming? People answer with these answers. And I'm just going to kind of go through them quickly. I don't know how. Well, of course you don't know how. When you were born, you didn't know how to do anything, and then you learned from there. So I don't know how is not an answer. And that just because you think that when the subject comes up, or any subject comes up, I don't know how is not good enough. So here's another one I hear all the time. I am digitally challenged. Well, guess what? We are all digitally challenged. We all have these challenges to learn new things, and some of us have a higher aptitude for it. Some of us have a lesser aptitude. All things being equal, nothing's equal, but you do the best with what you can, and that's all that's expected. And it's not that hard. Here's another one. It costs too much. Hogwash. I got started with $25. Literally, well, that and my computer and the internet and stuff, you know. But as far as gadgetry to add to what I was going to use to start with, I took the computer I had, which was not near as good as what I have now, and $25 for a camera and a headset just like this one. And I used to use this mic right here until I got this better one. So you can improve, but you got to get started somewhere. So 3 years ago, that's what I started with, an investment of $25. Okay, here's the next one. That was 3. We'll go on to 4. I'll do it wrong. Well, if there's ever a fatalistic attitude, that one takes the cake. Because if you make the declaration you're going to do it wrong, you're going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So go ahead and do it wrong and then quit, and that's your game, right? And I don't know who's watching, but I'm going to take a look to see if I can figure it out. And if by any chance you would like to say hi, here's where we'll do it. right there in the YouTube chat. So I'll be checking back to those chats if you have anything to say. And I don't have this event going in my website right now, so it's all on YouTube as a Friday vlog. I've been looking at these 10 reasons to do this, 10 reasons to do that. I see right, 10 reasons not to move to Las Vegas, Nevada. I can think of dozens of reasons, even though I love Las Vegas. I can think of dozens of reasons not to do it. Okay, so number 4. Or actually, yeah, I'll do it wrong. That was number 4. Number 5, I won't be good at it. You know, the self-talk that we talk to ourselves about, it's whatever we create and make of it, that's what we become. So if you're thinking to yourself, I won't be good at it, that's exactly what you're going to produce. Now, you might decide later on that, well, I was wrong. I'm actually pretty decent at it, or people giving me positive feedback. Of course, your attitude can change, but having the attitude going in that you won't be good at it is not helpful. It's not helpful. I love this one, number 6. People won't like me. Well, if you're doing this because you need people to like you, you've got a bigger problem than learning how to live stream. I'm just being blunt about it. And if you need people to like you, live streaming is probably not the place to start. It's a really cool place once you get going if you actually need people to like you. Because if you're a likable person, you can get some immediate feedback and you can go viral, you know, with something like that. But if you have questions about who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, it's kind of hard to find yourself in a live streaming program. You got to have your idea before you get started. How about this? People will criticize me. Well, of course they will. There's nothing that you can do perfectly for everybody. Somebody somewhere will disagree. Somebody somewhere will hate your guts for whatever the reason they concoct, and you can't take it personally. Well, maybe you can if you've caused the grift, you know. But I mean, if you're just being a good person, putting out good positive vibes, there will always be someone who is envious of you or jealous or something. They think that they should be where you are or have what you have or be able to be what you are. And if that's the case, they're the ones with the problem. So sometimes criticism is going to happen. I got criticized a lot. I started my own show because I was getting such heavy criticism from my peers around me. I lost a few friends, and they told me I was doing it wrong and that dual websites for mobile was the way to go and that websites were dead. I got a lot of feedback that told me that, Roland, you're destined for failure on your road, whatever you're doing there. Well, I went on my way, got into live streaming, and this is what I do now. But if I were to say, I'll listen to my friends and I'll follow their advice, I wouldn't be happy right now, and they'd still be my friends. So I don't know if it was a good trade-off or a bad trade-off, but that's the way it turned out. And all in all, I think that friends are what they are. You have to decide if you're going to be their friend or not. And regardless of whether they end up treating you as a friend or not, your decision is independent of that. Sometimes it's mutual, sometimes it's not. So just because you are not acting as friends, it doesn't necessarily mean you're enemies or that you mutually dislike each other. But what I do know is that when I decided to do what I was going to do, there were certain people that was not in harmony with. And I had to accept that. I didn't have to pick up arms and go to battle or go to war. But I had to understand and accept the fact that things were going to be different. But if I wanted to do it that way, the difference was me. The difference was the way I was doing it, what I wanted to be, what I wanted to show people who I was in the process. That was the real battle. being genuine, being authentic, and doing what I do. Let's see if, just offhand, if anyone's commented. Nobody's commented, so I'm probably watching by myself, which is perfectly fine because what a vlog is me sitting here expressing myself the way I want to. I'm as much talking to myself as I'm talking to anybody. And quite honestly, I don't need anyone out there watching me to do this video right now. I'm doing it because I need to express myself. And that's really what I think everybody should be doing, expressing themselves in some way. And if you're doing that from the heart, there are going to be people who resonate with you. So people who criticize you, that's number 7. Number 8, I love this one. I'll be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed every day, but I got to laugh it off, you know? Embarrassment is not such a bad thing or not such a terrible hurdle unless you make it that way. And if you have expectations of yourself and see that there's all this negative vibes and energy against you and you're going to be embarrassed about it, maybe live streaming isn't for you. So if that one applies to you, yeah, that's a good reason not to do live streaming. But embarrassment, the internet nowadays and social media, they don't want you to be an actor or an actress or pretend to be something and be good at it, although that's kind of funny sometimes. But what they really want is the reality of who you are. They want authenticity to the max. So if you're there expressing yourself and being who you are, that's the best you can do. And if you are being who you are, you have to figure, do you have friends? Do the people like being around you? Or are they in a hurry to leave? Or do they say goodbye earlier than you wish they would every day when they see you? You know, I guess we could take clues from this. But the bottom line is, if you're a likable person, you don't have to be embarrassed who you are. You just have to be who you are and be real. And laugh along with everyone else. Be encouraging. Be inspiring. Be yourself. And embarrassment is all on you. If you would choose to be embarrassed, that's on you. Here's one. Nobody will watch and listen. Well, there's nobody watching and listening to this except for maybe one person. So I don't know. Maybe the one is me. But I mean, nobody will watch or listen. I'm not really doing this for the sake of viewers. It's important to consider that there may be some out there, because if I consider that there may be someone that comes along, watches after the fact, or pops in and watches right now, then that means I have to be really careful about what I'm saying. I have to be sincere, genuine, and authentic, and realistic. And I need a shave. I could be cleaned up a little bit. I'm getting ready for tomorrow's show. There's a lot that I'll be doing. But basically, I don't need the people to do what I do. And so that's a blessing for me in my present state, that I don't need the people. I like doing it. I like having a conversation. I like giving out positive things and good information that will help people. But I don't need the people. Like the numbers game is not something that I play. Okay, so if nobody watches and listens, it's okay with me. But if it's a big thing to you, that's a good reason not to do it. Here's one, number 10, that is sincerely a possibility. It will be too much pressure. Now, you know that pressure causes stress and stress kills. And as a result of that, there are a lot of things that I would do if I was a more formidable person. And there's a lot of things that I don't do because I just can't get around to it. And such being the case, I don't do everything that I could to develop my website, these shows, my YouTube channel. My overall campaign suffers because I could do more, but I don't. Oh, it looks like Roz Bounty is watching the show. She says, making comments on YouTube from my, okay, that's good. And make comments, it seems like you're not able to see them. That's possible, or maybe I just need Roz to refresh. YouTube's been weird for me today, so I just don't even know. But I see my hi y'all that I put in there, but I do not see your comments. So thank you. You can comment to me in YouTube. I mean, in Google Plus comments, and I'll see them there. And for what we're doing, that's good enough. But anyway, the point of me talking about the 10 top reasons not to live stream is that although I'm a live streamer, and I think that there's something huge and valuable to do with live streaming and to consider doing a weekly show. I mean, I'm trying to set the example for anyone on any subject to do a weekly show. Because the whole point of it all is to develop something that is your interest, that you love to do it, relate to it in the show, and live stream it, and do it weekly, do it every single week, if not more often, and talk about it whenever you can. Because the theory is if you do what you love, eventually you'll get paid for it. And you develop a skill set, and you develop a reputation for what you're talking about, and you develop the regularity that is required by YouTube and Google and social media. And it's the basis for a lot of other things, your website, social media posts, and so forth. So your blog, your weekly blog or vlog or your show is a starting point to get you on the right track. That's why I focus on video live streaming, because if you do that, you can step from there almost anywhere. And that's why if I encourage people to do that, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm doing a live streaming show. And if you conquer that, and it ain't that big a deal, but if you conquer that, all these other things seem so much simpler. So you could either start with a blog, a written blog, and how to do the images and how to do an occasional video, maybe, and write a weekly blog, or maybe you start it off monthly, and then you'll be thinking, well, my next challenge, now I've got to try a website. I got to get my own website. I need to do regular posts on social media. Now I'm going to try video, and so you can climb the ladder that way. But I see nothing wrong with starting with video and conquering that. And when you've actually made that leap, it's like, oh crap, I've got a weekly show. I'm doing a weekly video log or something. And I have one friend of mine that I've been talking about this for about 5 years. And 3 years ago, she wasn't ready to do it. But I decided, well, the heck with it, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm through waiting for people who say they want to follow my lead, and I'm just going to go do it. Because if I'm not doing it, what business do I have encouraging other people, right? So I just started the Marketing Smarties show on a Saturday morning and called it Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. And it has been the thing that sustained me through all of this. And now I've got this archive of 100 and something shows. It's probably closer to 150. And a lot of tests and trials and tutorials and different things like that. But I mean, the main thing is that I went out there and did it, and I was consistent. I've got, for most seasons, one show a week. So by example, I hope that I've shown people this is what you can do. And if you have as much time or more than I do, you could probably do more. You got to remember, I'm a hemiplegic. But you wonder why I lean to the right like this. That's because my right side is gimpy. And I look at all my notes and things on this huge monitor to my left that I'm fortunate to have. Plus, I've got another monitor. So I've got a lot of information in front of me and watching a lot of things. But the thing is, No, I don't sit there smiling at the camera and sit straight up and get my head at the 2/3 level, and I position myself in the center, or over at the first 1/3 over there with the all the theories of where you should position yourself. And no, I'm not perfect on my presentation, but it's a perfect presentation isn't for everybody. And basically, I just get in front of the camera. And plus, I am left-handed now by default, and I put my mic over here. I've got my keyboard over here, got my coffee over here. So I sit crooked on the camera. It's kind of like part of the icon of who I am now. And I don't care. I mean, it's who I am. It's part of me being realistic and honest about who I am and what I need to do to accomplish what I do, and to be genuine and authentic. Now, to me, that is authenticity. It's not the same as people saying, "Oh yeah, I have to do this, and then that makes me authentic. I have to let you know if I need to take a potty break. That's being authentic." BS. I couldn't believe it when I heard someone do that. I won't drop any names. But authenticity is not something that you have to try to do. Authentic is something that you are, not that you try to be. And so that's one thing that I know. If you develop a show, if you conquer all those 10 points about why you shouldn't live stream, and you've addressed them yourself and say, yeah, I'll be embarrassed, but I'll try it anyway. As long as you're saying, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to try it anyway, then you've conquered those 10 big reasons why not to live stream. The only thing left is to go out and do it. And it seems like it could be costly, expensive. And it very well might be that people's hurdles are more so than we would normally see. In other words, maybe your computer isn't quite right. Maybe you need to drop 100 or 200 into your computer. Maybe something's broken and needs to be replaced. Maybe you don't have the best camera yet. Maybe this microphone is what you want, but you can't afford it yet. And there's one just as good for $20 that I would recommend anybody anyway. So money can be gotten around and be conquered. And if you really, really want something, there's a way to achieve it. But when it comes to all the things, get started for $25. Don't worry about the better microphone. Work up to it. But the thing is to get started. The whole theory of min-maxing is you take the minimum you need for the maximum impact. And that standard varies with where you are, what you can achieve, and what it's going to do for you if you take the plunge. And usually you'll benefit enough to spend more time in it. And what you think about, you bring about. The more you think about something, the more you develop into it. And I guarantee you it'll grow, but you've got to believe that. So the next time, possibly on next Friday, the subject will probably be something involving faith. And that is a biggie to me. A lot of people are challenged by faith, and rightfully so. Life is not easy. There's a very simple formula, but it's not easy. Just concentrate on the love and hope and faith and goodwill and goodness, and everything is going to work out. And if we could do that, it'd be great, because everything would work out. That's what God gave us. That's what faith involved. That's the law of attraction. That's everything goodness. And that's what going around is coming back around. And it works. It actually works. But to stick with it and live through it while everything is falling apart and going to hell up behind you, that's kind of tough. So life does have its things. But that's a part of life, because we are human beings. If we were meant to be here on earth being gods, that'd be one thing. We're not. We're far from that. But we're meant to be humans. And in that, the challenge that we have is learning how to live and learning how to express ourselves in spite of adversity. So maybe next week we'll talk about that. In the meantime, I really appreciate. I think that's Roz. You're probably the one watching, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. And I'm going to put a little music on and say goodbye. Oh, it actually worked. And that's a Friday vlog. The main thing is to get started now and to find a way, especially if you could use live streaming, to express yourself. Be yourself and express online via video. Live streaming is the way to go. Express yourself. So, Roz, let's go out there and express yourself, okay? We'll see ya.